Okay, so hello everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, based on your time zones. And today we are gonna go ahead and we are going to start domain 3 of our journey in Cybersecurity Foundation course. So we will be going ahead and we will be simply getting the knowledge about the offensive side of the security. So till now, I think you guys have very nice and good idea regarding that what is going to be your networks, right? A bit of the idea that what are the network devices and bit of the challenges in the network, all these kind of things you are pretty much familiar with. In addition to that, bit on the defensive side, I think Nawaz was covering defensive side over here. So you guys have now the idea onto the domain 2, that was the defensive side. And now we will be going ahead with the your domain 3, which is going to be the offensive side, which will be starting from today, and it will be keep going on till the your next 10 sessions. So, with this whole month of March where we are conducting this, it will be going throughout that particular one. So first of all, let me introduce you to the myself to the bunch. And hello everyone. This is Rishabh Kotiyal, and I'm going to be your speaker, your trainer for the next 10 days. And we will be keep going ahead, and we will be talking about the offensive side of security in the Cybersecurity Foundation course. So you might have already seen what we are going to cover. So a day by day agenda, I will be telling you and we'll be discussing those things over this. If I will give you a bit of a brief about myself, some of you might be already familiar with me. If I will be talking about, I will, if I give a bit of the idea about myself, I have done the graduation, post-graduation in computer science engineering. And during my postgrad, my area of research was wireless sensor networks, where I have done the bit of the research and the, hybrid algorithm protocols and all. Apart from that, during my college days itself, I got introduced to this cybersecurity world. And by the end of my college itself, I was taking some seminars on the your cybersecurity itself. I continued this journey to the my postgrad days as well. So I started somewhere with the offensive side of the security. Okay, so I started with the pen testing and all these kind of a things, doing the web application testing and all these things. Then moved a bit onto the defensive side, and then switched myself over to the cloud security itself. So you'll be seeing most of the my work with the cloud security, and in the cloud, I am just mostly dealing with the your Azure part. Okay, so my area of expertise are in the Azure itself. So if I will be talking about the few certification that I am having certifications like CEH, ECSA, CSA, CCSE. I'm a CI, Certified EC Council instructor. With that, I have completed Security Plus, CYSA Plus, Pentest Plus, Network Plus as well, and have few certifications on the Azure sites as well, AZ 500, 900, 104, and others as well. I'm also an MCT, Microsoft Certified Trainer. With that, I have completed the CCSK as well on the cloud side itself. And this is just a brief about myself. These things are, bit of my forte where I started. So offensive was the part where I myself started. And in this journey of our cybersecurity, we will be starting with the same, the domain 3, offensive security basics. So today our focus will be pretty much simple. I think I'm going to tell you that today is going to be mostly the theoretical part. Okay. So we'll be covering the points over here, and let me tell you that what I'm going to do when we will be on the, your practical part. So I think you will be familiar with the VMware. So what I'm having itself over here is a VMware, which I will be going ahead and using to show you the demonstrations. Okay. So if you guys want, you can go ahead and you can install the VMwares itself. This is the Kali, which I personally use since 2019, right? So after last update of the 2019, this was this is that version. Okay, because after that the newer one I didn't like that much. Lot of the library got removed and added. So a few of my favorites are with this one. So I'm using bit older version. So what I'll be using Kali as an attacker's machine, and then I will be having different machine over here which I can use as the your uh, you know target, I can say, right? So for those people, once you have the VMware with in your system, you should be having the something like, your machine which is well capable enough of running multiple scenarios over there, like multiple machines. So at least 8 gigs RAM, something I would suggest, and i5 i7 processor, means multiple cores should be there. Okay, so that you can handle that particular practice over there. Why VMware I like? Because I can find multiple practice machines, very simple and easy to use over here. So that is just personal choice. So what is the Kali Linux? If I will be talking about a bit regarding the Kali Linux itself, so either I'm talking about the Kali, or okay, I'm talking about the Kali over here, or either I'm going to talk about the. So when we talk about these things, either it is a Parrot, either it is a Kali. It comes with the pre-installed cybersecurity tools, so you don't need to go ahead and install the tools. Like there will be Metasploit framework already installed. There will be the Bub Suite Community Edition installed. It will be having the different Nmap installed and all those kind of a things over there. So these kind of things are going to be in there. Now, many of you are asking the different machines name that what I am having on the right hand side. So if you guys will notice, like I'm using this, like someone is asking troll or something like these, right? So these machines are my target machines. So like troll machine you are seeing, or metasploitable 2 you are seeing, or weakness, or different one Android. So these are my target machine. Target machine are means these are the intentionally vulnerable machines which people they use when they are practicing for the offensive side itself. So this is something that is in there, and that's why I use all this uh, VMware virtual environment on this kind of a thing. So at least what I would say, people are asking about the, now this is just come down to the personal preferences as well, that whether you want to use VirtualBox, you want to use the VMware, right? So I personally use the VMware. Why? Because I can easily find lot of its compatible, vulnerable machines over your, this place. Like, this is a OneHub, a website which is the OneHub over here. Okay, here, OneHub. So this is having some of the vulnerable machines here, and you will be directly finding that drag and drop kind of a thing that you need to do about the your on your particular VMware. So you can go here. These will be intentionally vulnerable machine. Like this is a web machine N7. You can read, like this is a planet Earth, easy. Difficulty level is easy. Web-based challenges. These will be, you can download this thing and quickly install it onto the your. This is a OVA VirtualBox OVA format is here, so you can see. So this is the place from where you can download some intentionally vulnerable machines, which will be helping you to practice the different commands and different your ways of exploiting another machine, finding a new way, or kind of challenge your mind that which places you will be having. Usually these machines, they will be having hints hidden, so that you can just go ahead and solve them by yourself. So this is something that I personally do when I'm starting with. And for all those people, the Kali that you are asking about, you can visit their official website, and what you'll be doing, because I'm running the virtual machine, so you can directly go to the virtual machine base images here. Like I'm having the VMware 64. So you can go and download VMware base machine directly. Do not go for the weekly. I would not recommend recommend these things. Directly go and download the VMwares and start working with it. Okay, so this will be simply again a drag and drop or double click open kind of a file, which will be start running on your virtual machine directly itself. Okay, so these things are going to be in there, so you can take the this version. This is something that I am just recommending you that you can do over there, right? And people are asking me about the configurations of my system, so I would say that I am on the i7 and running on the 16 gigs of RAM in general, so that these kind of a things are going to be in there. So this is going to be whole thing that is there. So for the starter, the people who are just starting, I can suggest something like, go there, go with this something like your, when I'm saying about this thing, go with this something like Metasploitable 2 machine is there. You can download that. Okay. There is going to be the, for the starter. Yeah, that's a very good machine. If someone is just starting, I would say there is a machine with the name Metasploitable 2. Okay. Metasploit. table, for the beginners, very good machine. Metasploitable 2. You can start with this thing. This is going to be a good one to go ahead and start with your resources, right? So first is simple. You need to install the VMware in your system. Second, you need to go ahead and you need to have, these machines. So VMware, and then go to Kali website. You can download this Kali from here. This will be like this one. VMware 64-bit, click on this download button, it will be downloaded and it will be simply double click and play version. So you can use this, and then you can have the Metasploitable 2. Again, that is also going to be a simplest of your machine to solve. Okay, so again I am repeating, you have to start with the installation of VMware on your system. Okay, once VMware is there, then you need to install Kali, and then this is the machine Metasploitable 2. These are the these are the few things for practice purpose. So someone who will just want to follow these kind of someone who want to follow or practice thing more, who is interested in the offensive side, these are the suggestion for those people. Okay, so this is my personal recommendation because we are starting with the offensive side. So this is going to be something that I will be recommending someone who want to practice, because when we talk about the offensive side, the more you practice, the more you will learn. Okay, and these are something, the machines that is out there to help you, and this is again foundational course. So for all those people who are starting their career, or want to move into the or switch into this part, this is some of my suggestions that for practice purpose you can have something like this, right? So we'll be starting with this, and this is just some of the recommendation from my end. And then there is going to be the this is our agenda for the day. We will be talking about the attacks. I think till now you might be familiar with many of the terminologies. What is the pen testing? What are the pen testing methodologies, and why pen testing is important in any organization? So like I was suggesting, that today's day is going to be the only your particular theory wise thing. Okay, so what we will do, lots of people are saying that share the links with us and all. Guys, you will be finding all in the your Google. Yeah, Google you have, right? So for those people who are not familiar that why I am using the VMware or your virtual box, which generally, if you have seen the videos on the YouTube, they will be showing you in the VMware and all those kind of thing. So what is happening? You generally have your laptop, right? And now there is a limitation that usually you'll be using one machine at a time in this one, like Windows operating system you are running. You can have a dual boot system, triple boot system, right? But what we want to do, we want to practice for your cybersecurity. So one thing is that when one thinking could be, when I right now I can gather theoretical knowledge, and when I will be joining a particular organization, there I will be having practice. So this is one approach. Second is that you want to prepare yourself. So for that, what is happening on the hardware, we create a virtual environment with the help of the tools like VirtualBox, VMwares, and that what it will do. This is your laptop, for example, on top of which is you are running the what? A Windows, like I'm running on the Windows 10. Okay, on top of that I will install the your virtual machine, also means VMware, and now it will allow us to create a virtual environment kind of a scenario where I can have multiple machines running. This one could be running on the Ubuntu, this one is running on the Kali Linux, right? Another machine, another server I can deploy, which could be vulnerable, another window XP. So kind of what we are doing, a kind of a network of machine you are creating. So for using these machine, you can try to compromise others. So you are creating for yourself a environment over there. Now people keep asking that what is better, VMware, Hyper-V, or your virtual box. So I would say it is depending on the choices and how much you are comfortable with. Like I tell you my reason why I go with the VMware, because when I was practicing, a lot of machines was directly click, plug and play kind of a thing for the VMware, right? Vulnerable machines. So that's why I prefer this one, and I feel myself comfortable over here. This is just the, your preference, that what you have, right? And that's why, because I was getting a lot of the private questions as well, that what environment should I use the VMware. This is the reason we are creating the virtualization on top of your hardware, so that I don't need to go ahead in the shop and purchase multiple laptops, systems, connect them through a LAN, and then start practicing all these kind of the things as well. Everything is best. People are saying which is best. Virtual box is also best. VMware is also best. Your Hyper-V is also good. So those kind of a things you can have. Okay. So yes, so we'll be going with, and till now with the VMware, my experience is very good. Machines are not being crashed over the time, so that's why I prefer that as well. Okay. Now, you know these are the few things, and what we'll be doing, and to be honest, if you will see that how to go ahead, and you'll be finding how to download these things like I was showing you. Just search for the Kali Linux, it will be taking you to their official website. You will be searching for the anything. Even I am doing the same thing, like I gave you the example Metasploitable 2, right? Download. So also I'm using the, you're going to use these links. So here you will be, the first one which you are getting, you can use this one, right? To go ahead and download your Metasploitable 2 from there. Okay. So you can have it from here as well. Download the, version 2, go ahead and do these kind of a thing. This will be also available. So, these are the places from where you can get these machines to download. Okay. And yes, you know, no. So thing is, the environment that you are creating, that is going to be the virtual machine environment. Okay. And the machines that you are going to install on top of it, that is going to be the vulnerable machines. So what is happening, usually if you are having the office laptop, they might not allow the virtualization, or in addition to that, installation of these vulnerable machines itself, because they will be making your system vulnerable as well. So not the security issue, but this is just the preference. That's why you might need to use your personal laptops. Okay. So if someone is kind of serious about it, and when you will be practicing for the certification like OSCP, right? So there, these kind of a practices of solving machine will be helping you a lot. Okay. So this is a bit about, so till now I have just introduced myself. I have discussed about the VMwares and all. Okay. That kind of the environment for the practice, which is good. And we'll be starting over here. So in my, retrospective, if you have seen, like I am right now working in the cloud security. So, towards the end, I will be sharing my profile as well, LinkedIn profile with all of you. You can connect with me, and anytime you will be requiring the guidance, requiring the cloud security, offensive security or anything, you can just reach out to me and connect with me. Okay, so now if I was showing you this virtualized environment, which I will be start utilizing from tomorrow. Okay, so today we need to understand some concept behind your offensive security, right? So let's just go ahead and start for the day. Now, we are talking about the, whole this scenario of, offensive, defensive, and all these kind of a thing. Now, if we'll, I will start with a very simple thing, that what is the information security? So this is the very first question, right? So there is also the term that what we use is the cyber security. Okay. So when we talk that term cyber security, it is usually for what? It is going to be defining your, when we talk about the cybersecurity, it is talking about the security of whole cybersecurity realm, which will be considering your devices, your networks, and everything. While we are talking about these, securing, so a lot of the information which we are getting, securing information using the CIA, right, means maintaining the CIA for your information. Now information can be in different your forms as well, right? Like it could be, the file based thing is also containing your information. Okay, it's not always going to be digital, it could be your physical as well. So files, papers, even a person who is just aware about some data, right? People are aware about some data, they, I can say in your mind as well, in your memory there is some data. You're working for your office, you're working with that, that is also that. So to secure that kind of the data from in all respective, the where it is stored, how it is implemented, so that is going to be regarding your information security, right? Now, for these kind of things, so to protect me, let's say for example there was an employee XYZ, right? And he was working with some data. So he has the role of the data processor, or filtering the data. So he also aware about the some of the data that you are having. Now, to protect from such kind of a threat, we implement something like policies, what we have over here. So we go with what we go with. We go with this something like policy, that okay, deploy the policy over here, and making things like non-disclosure agreement, okay, that you cannot share the data with that, all those kind of things. So the data with that person were in mind. So what we are going playing, we are playing kind of a mind game with it. So everyone is going to talk about like insider threat, data loss prevention solutions. These things should be implemented. And yes, this is something that you have learned. Why I ask this question? Because this is the thing that you have learned in the defensive side, right? That what is the information security, how it is going to challenge you, the different realm of it. You are just saying that yes, you need to go ahead and you need to protect your data, maintain its CIA itself. So I got the idea that everyone is familiar with over here. Now what is happening is that, first of all, attackers, they are going to attack you, right? Now, if attacker is simply attacking you, what they required is, okay, so first of all, if I will talk about some common attack vectors that is going out in there. So if I will be talking about these things, these are the 10 common attack vectors that you might be seeing all around the globe, right? So why attack vectors we are talking about over here? So where your vulnerabilities could be, they are having, or what kind of the common attacks you can have. First of all, we are talking about the software vulnerabilities, that your software is going to have some bugs. You can say some, your because of the coding, there is some bugs left, which can be, in simple term, I can say a bug, right, in software codes. So what can happen? Attacker can take the advantage of that and compromise your software, and then through the software gaining the whole access of your system, your organization as well. So this is going to be the your scenario over here. Then there could be the your data leak, compromised credential. Now compromised credential and weak password, two things over there, right? Now in this one, what is happening? So I'm just, guys, I'm using very layman term, layman language, so that everyone, all of our attendants can understand this, what we are talking about. So compromised credentials or weak password, right? So one thing is, let's say that you go ahead and you store your password like password. This was the most common password, right, in the 2022. Then there was something like your I love you. It was on the second rank, right? So there was the I love you. So when you are using something like very simple kind of a weak password, or let's say someone's, okay, I will be just picking a few names from the audience. So I hope no one is going to mind it. Okay. For example, let's say a common name, like there was a name Sandeep, a person is having the username Sandeep, and simply going to go ahead and use the same name Sandeep. So it is a weak password that you are having 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Yes, right. So someone is using that like that. Someone is using QWERTY, QWERTY. So these are the weak password that you are having. Then over the time that you have heard that some are the very common ones, and after that, there is going to be like your compromise. So you are hearing the things like that this organization got compromised, and there was a lot of leaked password. Okay. Even if you visit the dark web, you will be finding out that there are going to be the few of your when we talk about this, so there is going to be the few of your uh, I would say people who will be selling you or having the auction going on onto the your data dumps. So they have leaked the password, right? They have leaked the password, and they have kind of breach a particular organization and steal a bunch of passwords, then crack them and then paste it for the use, right? So that is the kind of thing that could be another thing. Compromised credentials you could have. There are a lot of things regarding the password, like password reuse, password histories. These kind of things are always going to be the something regarding the your password itself, right? So this is one thing. Then that insider threat that I was getting, people were talking about the insider threat when I was talking about the information gathering. So that is what your malicious employee. Now, reason could be N behind it, right? Like you will be reading about the social engineering, you'll be finding that there are different principles that keeps going on. Now, reason could be anything, and there could be an insider person who is leaking your information, maybe due to greed, okay, maybe due to the some motive, that person needs some motive over there why you want to do those kind of a thing. Then it is going to be the malicious employee who is leaking your information from the inside, that my company is working on this project using this code, this is their software development kit, they are running the their environment is this is their web server, this is their network design. So you can't, you have some checks in place, but again, malicious employee could be another factor. Then you are using poor encryption. Let's say you are using something like your DES. Okay, you are using the two fish algorithm, blowfish algorithm. So weaker algorithm, when you are using, you have the poor encryption methodology going on, that will be called your poor encryption. Or even if on your Wi-Fi you are using WEP, okay, that is going to be your poor encryption. Then nowadays the threat of ransomware is always there. So you keep hearing the terms like on the, I think last year, if you remember, there was Colonial Pipeline hack. If I'm taking the name correctly. So they end up paying the good amount of ransom. So what ransomware they generally do, they will go and all the informations file that your organization has, they will be encrypting it, right? And then asking you for a ransom, that give me some money, okay, show me some green, and I will give you the key. Okay, so this is something that they are going to use, do over there. So they will say that, okay, let's say for example, you have your personal laptop, you go on a vacation with your family, you click on all the nice photo, you save it over there, okay, and then what happens, someone go ahead and lock all the thing, your personal files, your photos, and those were, you don't have any backup of that. And they will be saying, okay, send us the $500, and then we will let you use your system, or give you the key using which you can decrypt this. So in the end, what Colonial Pipeline they did, they fall for this, and they end up, first they were saying, no, we have all the backups, we will be not giving them any money or so. But in the end, what happened is, they kind of, I think they were not having the backups, and in the end they end up paying the good amount of a ransom over there, right? So this is going to be in there. Now, this is the one of the ransomware attack, and industry was hit by the WannaCry ransomware, which is the one of the most famous ransomware attack of all the time, right? So because it was, if kind of impacting every Windows server, and it has cost a very big amount to the industry. Okay, that's why it is considered as the one of the biggest attack, we can say, into the your ransomware's history. Okay, it was around 2017. All the different versions of, at that time, your resources that was there, Windows version that was there, they were infected to this particular, having this threat over there of WannaCry ransomware, right? Correct. So you guys are like discussing that this was the example of company that paid ransomware. Usually you are not advised to do so. Yeah, that's right. So this is there. Then there is going to be the phishing. Very common work, of the your term which is used. Phishing is just like you go and you do the fishing in the ponds, on the lakes, on the rivers, similar to that. Okay, so what we are doing, we are looking for the fishes, which we can hook. Okay, so how? You'll be sending some mail that, okay, you want to get rich. If you want to get rich, please click on the link. So I can double your money, right? click on this link. I am your bank manager, and you haven't filled your credit card is about to expire. So fill your KYC form by the end of the day. Else, KYC is know your customer form, where they will be writing your bank account, your credit card details, those kind of a thing. Fill this form, else your account will be blocked, right? So these kind of a thing, you fall for it, you go ahead, you fall for that, and just end up losing some money over there. So that would be a phishing. Then there is some misconfigured devices over there, means some unnecessary ports were open. Okay, you were having some protocols running on that system which should not be running, like you have enabled the IRC protocol over there, you are running the HTTP instead of HTTPS, you are having the HTTP based communication going on. So those kind of a misconfigured device, unnecessary ports, unnecessary services are running on that system. So these are like the your misconfigured devices. Then there are exploiting the trust relationships. So sometime a device is working on the another device, like federation is an authentication methodology, right? Two device trusting each other and taking the advantage of that, or you are sending some token, malicious token, or using the fake, a or a certificate, digital certificate, to enabling the trust between a browser and the your link that you are using. So attacker, what they you do is sometime, yeah, PKI, public key infrastructure, that what we have. So there is something like lot of the time when you'll be seeing malwares, they are using it. So they you will be using something like Let's Encrypt. There is the cloud certification authority with the name Let's Encrypt. So I have seen this a lot, that most of the malware, they will be using something like this certificate. They were having some vulnerability, they exploited it earlier. I'm talking about from my experience, and they were generating some certificate, suspicious certificate, and then providing the certificate to the some people so that they will be trusting, allowing you to install some uh, files or exe, your programs or DLL files in your system, or you will be trusting a website that this is a genuine website, although that will be a fake website. So these kind of things, so exploiting that trust between you. And then denial of service. So distributed denial of service, or denial of service, when we talk about, I think one of the common attack. So out of the CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, it affect your availability, means your resources are down. Simple as that. So let's say I was hosting a web application. A simple example would be a e-commerce website, and not always denial of service is happening due to the bad traffic or bad people only. The reason behind this could be all some of the time a generic traffic as well. Why? Let's say you were an e-commerce website, okay, and what was happening, you was an e-commerce website like Amazon, and you announce that there is going to be a sale where you can get the discount of even 50%. And let's say you can get your iPhone 14 Pro only on in the your $399, right? Now, I think I give this kind of the example so that everyone will be interested to buy at this price. iPhone 14 Pro, $399. Everyone will be just going ahead and just jumping towards this thing that Amazon is having the sale, go there. So the lot of the traffic that is generated, and the traffic generated in that much amount that your server cannot handle it, and you start getting something like 502 bad gateway, or 404, or different errors it is generating over there. I have seen this happening in India. If you go back around 2014, I think first big billion day sale, we have in India the local e-commerce website, Flipkart, right? So they were having this big billion day sale, first big billion day sale, where they were offering that Nokia Lumia 920. If I will be talking about that price at that time, it was around like $15 or something, right? So only few limited ones. So there was a so crazy prices, so everyone wants to jump in. So sale was about to start at 10, and at 10 to, or even at 10:01 itself, people start getting the message 502 bad gateway services down. So errors, lot of things was happening because they were not prepared for this much of a traffic. So one is a genuine traffic, another attackers, they will be going ahead and kind of performing these things knowingly, right? They will be having their botnets, okay, which, or there are different names like botnet, CNC servers, CNC network. There is going to be the broadcast network, different name what we use it. So these kind of the networks that they use, and what they do, they will be forwarding the traffic, right? They will be forwarding the traffic towards the their target, right? So this is going to be the examples, some of the example that you are doing of the attacks over there. Now, because we are talking about the attacks right now. Okay. So, okay, for those people who are not aware about the botnet is collection of bot. Okay. Bot is what? Bot could be any system which is commanded and controlled by the someone else. Means your attacker, maybe they install some backdoor in your system or a Trojan or a malware. So now they are controlling your system. So that is called a bot. And botnet will be the group or the collection of these bots which is under the control of one manager. So that would be the one. Okay, so using that, they will be compromising or they're sending the lot of text. So the manager here will be giving everyone the instruction that go to this website or go to this target to bring them down, right? So these kind of a thing can be happening over there, all the time. Now when we go ahead and when we talk about few more things, so attack we are talking about, right? So in the attack, one more thing I want to discuss, and that is going to be your, when I'm saying attack, the attacker need to have, okay, what attacker need to have the motive behind the any attack, right? There should be a motive, and there should be, if some of the places you might have seen this kind of a equation as well. So for an attack to perform, you need to have a motive, means you need to have a goal why you want to do that. Then in addition to that, there should be a method that could be existing for any of the vulnerability, right? So this is going to be there. So motive, it will be, notion that the target system stores something, so whatever I am targeting, it is having something valuable. Okay, so it will be leading to the threat of an attack on that system. So if I am having a system which I will say is going to have details of your, lots of celebrities, right, their address details and everything, so that system automatically become target of many people, right? So a number of reasons could be there. They need to have some motive behind it. Now what they will try to do, first they will try to find the vulnerabilities that is in there. So they will try the different technique to exploit the vulnerabilities in that computer. Different kind of the things over there, right? Okay. So a lot of the questions are talking about the DDoS. So DDoS is your distributive distributive denial of service. Denial of service means if I am a authenticated user, I am an authorized user, a valid user, and I want to access any service, that service should be available to me all the time. That is the concept of CIA. But attackers, what they will do, they will bring down that server. So if you have a server, what is going to be in there? They will be bringing it down, means making it unavailable for you to use. Like I was giving you the example of your what? Example of my, Amazon attack and different kind of the attacks that what we were talking about, right? So this is something that what we are having. Now, these are the some attacks, and I was talking about the your uh you know yes, when we are talking about this, so I was talking about the attacker need to have that motive. Then in that system there should be some vulnerability existing, and then you'll be using some method to exploit it, right? So this is going to be the your scenarios regarding the your attack. So any attack, when this will happen due to these kind of the features or resources, we can say, right? So there could be the now if we will be classifying the attack could be something like insider attack, right? The DDoS is distributive denial of service. So what was happening in this one? Lot of people, like I was giving the example of botnet. So from multiple different location, the traffic will be originated, sent to your your target, so that they can bring it down. So that is more of a distribution attack, right? There could be insider attack, which we were talking about. Okay, so these kind of the attacks are always going to be in there, that is happening all the time. Now, if I will be giving it the kind of the broad categories, so the threats that will be there, so what we are going to have, we are going to have network threat, we are going to have host threats, and we are going to have then the application threat. So when I'm saying network threat, so threat related to your network, right? So a simple threat, network threat, I can say if you have the wireless network, okay, if you have wireless network and you are using some weak encryption over there, WEP, so it will be the traffic that you are sending through that particular wireless network. It can be easily cracked as well, right? So that can be, one of the attack that you can think, or even we can have, when we are talking about the your simple as your when we are talking about the network threats. So in the network threat, another very simplest example that what we can say is, there was a connection going on between the your parties. So what is happening? A LAN connection was going on, even a simple LAN wire was going on, and someone cut it off. That is also considered attack, and that will be a more of a physical attack on your organization kind of a thing. So when we are talking about these scenarios, these are going to be the your resources of your different uh, ways of doing it, right? So network attacks are going to be the one category that what we are seeing. There are going to be the different attacks that will be the part of your network threats as well. So in the network threat, we can have the something like man in the middle attack. If you have heard about this, MITM, we represent it with that man in the middle attack. Someone is sniffing your conversation, right? Now, one specific malware which affect network, that is the war. Okay, it consume your network capability. Okay, obviously denial of service that just now we talked about, right? Bringing down your network, you know, that is something again that is going to be in there. So some different malware could be installed, spywares could be installed in there, worm could be installed in there. So all these kind of the network threats that what we are having over there. Then there is going to be the application threat. Okay, so again, a bit of the example, I think you guys have heard something like SQL injection, right? We have the overflow or cross-site scripting attacks. So why these things are being there? So your application has some vulnerability. While you were coding, you left some of the not intentionally, but unintentionally some create some, or you forgot some logics in between and having these kind of a thing. So cross-site scripting, if you have heard something like buffer overflow, okay, buffer overflow, there is going to be the CSRF and all those kind of a things that is that is the in the software applications. Okay, so application threat, they can compromise your CIA of data and the system, and these application threat, they can be mitigated through the measures such as regular software update, code reviews, and pen testings. Okay, yeah, so you're talking about the log4j and all, so yes, that will be a whole in this part. Then there are host threat. So in the host, host threat are the security risk which originated from within a system, or sometimes through the network as well, like through the network someone send us what, a malware. A malware got installed in your system. Okay, someone doing unauthorized access, you have some misconfigured settings on your system. So those kind of things will be part of the host threat. Someone install a trojan controlling your whole system, right? So those kinds of things could be there, and it can also compromise the CIA of data and the system over here. Now, right, and how we can remediate them? We can remediate them with the your software, firewall, and the access control. Okay, so host, network, and your application are the some of the threats what we can divide over here for now. Now we will go ahead and just the attack that is happening. Okay, so we got the idea onto the landscape that attacker is doing the attack, and right now we are on the offensive security. So let's just go ourselves ahead and let us get introduced or get familiar with your pen testing over here. Now when I'm talking about the pen testing, okay, so there is one more term which let me just put it down few points for you. So there are two terms. So before I start with this whole thing, there is going to be two terms: vulnerability assessment and pen testing. So I hope some in the last 15 days these terms has come across the sessions that we do VA and PT multiple time. So there are two terms which we use, and it is most of the time used interchangeably. Although you have to keep it in mind that these two terms are not same. So the key difference between the two is kind of the validation. So you are going to validate. Okay. So what is that? So vulnerability assessment is going to be the practice where you will be evaluating a computer system, a network, or an application to identify is there any potential weakness, right? So in vulnerability assessment, you're finding the potential weakness that is going to be there. Now, most of the time VA will be performed with the some automated tools, okay, which will be producing some list. If you have sometime run the VA, you must have seen some list of the your potential vulnerability out there based on some signatures, right? So they will be try to find out that what are the vulnerability. A list will be given to you, okay, and this will be like it will be giving you the 21 of your vulnerabilities in your system. So you are running an automated tool which is doing this thing, giving you 21 vulnerability. Now, out of this 21 vulnerability, there could be multiple false positive. Okay, false positive. Now, what is a false positive? For example, your VA tool is saying that your device is vulnerable for your what I would say there is a vulnerability in the Samba service. For example, SMB is having vulnerability that it is running on the version 1.0. Now, as the system admin, I am familiar that, okay, no, I have personally make sure that my Samba is running on the version 2.0 or higher, right? It is not working on the 1.0. So what it is, my vulnerability assessment is saying that yes, there is a vulnerability in Samba, but I know when I tested it out, no, it's not. So that is the false positive. Okay. So out of these 21 vulnerability, there could be the multiple false positive, or some of these vulnerabilities that is you are detecting, they are not exploitable. So it is saying, okay, false positive is when your vulnerability assessment tool, like for example, you are using Nessus, and Nessus is saying you have a vulnerability. Now, when you test it out, you find out it is a false alarm. There is no vulnerability. That is called your false positive. So VA, on the basis of automated tools running some scripts and telling you that this might be in your system, and it's not 100% that it will be there. So VA is that, just generating that list of the your vulnerability that could be there. Now, when we talk about there could be a lot of false positive like this. Okay, lot of the false positive like this, or maybe it is saying that you are having the vulnerability on the firewall, and when you try to go ahead and try to exploit that, it is not possible to exploit it, right? So could be the different cases. So VA is just with the help of a tool, it is just generating the your a list that it is saying that there could be these problems with your system, but in reality they does not exist. And pen testing, it will now go beyond your simple vulnerability testing. So what it will be looking now, if it is saying that yes, you have a vulnerability like you have the VSFTPD backdoor in your system. So if it is there, I will go ahead and I will exploit it in the pen testing, right? So I will exploit the vulnerability. I will be collecting the evidences. So very important. Evidence collection is very important. Means if I have exploited, take a screenshot of it, and that will be called an evidence, right? Or POC, proof of concept, right? So these terms will be used a lot. POC and your evidences are going to be in there. So these things, there is going to be your there, right? So you are verifying that whether or not these things are existing over there and producing the evidence as a part of report. So in the end of your pen testing, you will be generating a report which will be including all the evidences that happen. Now pen testing could have something like your, you know, you could be doing social engineering test or physical control test as well onto the system, and it will be all there, right? So what is this? This is the difference. So VA can have the false positive. So what is going to be a false negative? Okay, so let's just go a bit out of this, here, these slides, and what is going to be in there. Let me erase all things. So false positive is when I was saying that it is your, okay, what it is when I was saying that VA is giving you a list that there is 21 vulnerability, and out of that, false positive is, let's say it was saying there is a vulnerability like, I was saying Samba 1.0, but I know it's not, and I am running on the Samba 2.0. So what it is a false positive. When my VA tool is detecting a vulnerability and it is not existing in my system, that is false positive. False negative is my system didn't detect anything, and then there was actually an unreal IRCD backdoor installed in my system, and my VA tool didn't detect it. So it is going to be called a false negative, that in your system there was a vulnerability and your vulnerability assessment tool is unable to pick that up. So this is a false negative. Okay, so the question that was asked over there, you can have over there. This is the answer for that. This is the false negative, right? So false positive is not a, false positive is not an attack. False positive is your report is wrong in simple term. Okay, so these things are going to be in there. Now these things are in, through the manual, your testings or using the different tools, you can try to reduce down the, false negatives in your systems. Now, when we are talking about all these things, the pen testing is, again, clear differences. So VA is just giving me a list of vulnerability, and pen testing is going to be the, when you go ahead and exploit those vulnerability, collecting the evidence that yes, this is vulnerable. If 21 vulnerabilities are there, I will try to exploit each one of them, and try to collect the evidence, taking the screenshot and all, collecting the proof of concept, and then produce a report over there that this is vulnerable, I have the evidence. This is going to be called your pen testing, right? So pen testing is may verifying that yes, there is the vulnerability in the system, right? So means collecting, manually going ahead. So vulnerability assessment giving you the list, pen testing you are getting your hands dirty, testing them out, collecting evidence, generating a report that there is the your uh, result, or I can say there is the vulnerability in your system that is going to be in there. Now few points that is written on the slides. So pen testing is a method of evaluating the security of an information system or network by simulating an attack. Okay, so you will be kind of performing attack to find out vulnerability that attacker can exploit. Okay, first thing. Second, in pen testing, you will be simulating the method that is used by the intruder to gain unauthorized access. So just like this, you are going to go ahead and, you know, you will go ahead and you will be going ahead and simply gaining the unauthorized access just like any attacker will do. And that's why it is called your offensive security. So I will be mimicking the attacker, how they generally attack. I will be following their path, their way of attacking, to just going to over there and simply, you know, show you, prove you that how attacker can attack you. Prove that point with this, that is going to be my unauthorized access over there, doing those kind of things. So simulating that particular ideology of attacker will be the offensive security. So a pen test will not only point out the vulnerability, but also document how weakness can be exploited. So, you will be saying that I use this tool, okay, and this is my method, how I able to access it, and this is your result. So everything will be over there. Then there is going to be the on completion of pen testing process. Pen test, they will deliver a comprehensive report with detail of vulnerability discovered and suite of recommended countermeasure to the executive management and technical audience. So different reports you prepare. So your executive people, they are not going to understand the very technical explanation and everything. So for them you will be preparing the executive reports with simply the facts and figures that these were the vulnerability and we were able to get this, and this was the outcome, and how we can remediate them, right? How we can remediate these particular vulnerability as well. So you will be generating a whole overall report over here. Okay. So this is going to be the your simply right now we are talking about the pen testing only. So this is my pen testing. Now we will go ahead, and if some of you who are already working or try to read this topic earlier as well, you will be familiar that out there are multiple pen testing methodologies that is out there. So we can say pen testing methodologies, or standards or frameworks that exist to for a common base of understanding and expectation for pen testers, right? So what should be a common ground for the pen tester, right? What method they should be using, a framework we have defined, that what can happen, or what, just to make your task easy, that from where you should start, that kind of a scenario we are talking about over here. So pen testing methodology, they refer to a methodological approach to discover and verify vulnerabilities in the security mechanism of any information system. And that's why it will help enabling administrator to apply the your solution security control to protect the critical data and business function. Okay, so this require that particular kind of a scenario. So it is a methodology, or tell you an approach that how you can do the pen testing, right? And helping, and how you should be generating a report and everything. So if you will see, there are always going to be some proprietary solution or methodologies, like IBM, they have their own, McAfee Foundstone, EC Council has that, license pen tester over there. So these things are going to be the part of it. Now, what we are going to have the open source and public methodologies over here. Now, open source, I think some of the name is pretty much common with everyone. Like first thing that here I'm pointing out towards the OWASP. Okay. So OWASP is something that is one of the most popular way. So it is the Open Web Application Security Project Testing Framework, right? OWASP has that. So it is developed by multinational organization that collect and share security practices with software developer. This framework, it provides pen testing and other testing technique for each part of the software development lifecycle, for the for the development lifecycle, that how you should be preparing it, protecting it, and all those kind of things. Yes, they, for the web application, they produce top 10, a list of the top 10 threat for the web application, right? Which you should be kind of try to patch them for your applications itself. That is going to be in there, right? So this is the one thing. Then there is going to be the your from the apart from the OS, there is going to be the your OSSTM methodology. So that is what, open source open source security testing methodology manual, OSSTM. So this OSSTM, it is developed by the your Institute for Security and Open Methodology. So if you have heard this organization, ISCCOM. Okay, so this document is peer review guide to security testing and analysis, which help you to tighten up your operational security, right? So we have the ISCOM's or OSSTM itself. So this you have to relate with the ISCOM over there. Then there is going to be the your obviously that PTES and NIST is the two popular one as well. So if we talk about the your PTES, Pen Testing Execution Standard, it is developed by security service practitioner to provide the all business professional and security service provider a basic idea and guideline how they should be performing the pen test. So PTS is going to be the general standard while detailed information is provided by the PTES technical guides. So when if you will be visiting these website, like one link I am giving you about the methodology. So methodology. So if you'll be seeing pen testing methodology, so they have different 7 phases here. I will be also talking about these phases going ahead. So this is going to be in there. There is going to be the PCI DSS pen testing requirement, frameworks, what they are going to discuss. This is the NIST guideline. Okay, just to give you the idea that what we have in different one. OSS TMM, right? So these some references also over there onto the methodology is going to be in here. So, methodologies are going to give you the idea that what is there and what is not. So when I'm talking about the your ISSAF, the Information System Security Assessment Framework. So it is supported by the open, this one is supported by your Open Information System Security Group, OISSG. This is no longer maintained, okay, and therefore it is bit out of date, but it is one of the strength of this was it was linking individual pen testing step, like it is saying the information gathering you have to do. So which tool you have to use. So it was its strength that it was linking those pen testing step with the pen test tool, and its aim was to provide a comprehensive guide which can help you to conduct a pen test and give you a very good basis for developing your own methodology. And that's why it was the one of the very good standard that was out there. NIST had already 815 standard out there, which is talking about the steps that need to be taken. Okay, the guide. So if you will be seeing, I can show you the guide. Like I am having one for the OWASP. Okay, so there will be a guide. With that, there is also going to be a sheet, Excel sheet, right, which will be talking about your step where you are like right now, which tools you are going to allow, and what is your result or outcome. So these methodology, OWASP, NIST, they will be giving you or helping you with these, providing a guide, a standard, just for the starter purpose. Now, based on your scope, your requirement, you will be going ahead and you will be handling this thing. Means additional thing if you want to add, that is going to be, you will be keep adding. Like I want to add this tool or that tool. You are not limited with those tools that they are recommending. With your experience, you can keep adding and develop your own methodologies as well, that how you want to perform the pen test. But this is good for the starter purpose, someone who is just starting. Okay, so it will be helping you with that. Now, apart from these standards, there is different process for the your pen testing over there. Okay, now when we are talking about this thing, attack, right? So there is standards and framework, and then there are several process which you can use for pen testing. So these process, they are very similar in structure for most of the part, and they will be reflecting the process that are acknowledged to produce a successful cyber attack. In simple terms, what we are doing, we have seen the how attackers they work, right? So attacker, they will be performing something like your reconnaissance. So I'm not taking any of the methodology or framework like cyber kill chain or anything. General terms we are talking about. So an attacker, when they will be attacking, they will be starting with the reconnaissance, which means information gathering. Then they will be performing the scanning, then gaining the access, maintaining access and covering tracks. So reconnaissance, okay, so there is a habit of mine giving the very bad examples. So one of the example that I give at this place is like, there is a thief who want to steal something. So first, he will be roaming around a particular neighborhood, right? And just checking that which house look that it will be having a good wealth, right? That kind of thing is going to be the reconnaissance. So you're try to find a particular target. You find that target, you find details about it, like now this person belong to here. This is the this many, this is here, and these many people live here, what they do, and all that kind of information you are gathering here. Now, scanning is similar to that. You will be going to your target. You will try to find out what is their public IP addresses, where you can have, you know, these kind of the where you can have these kind of the tools, or what to know which technology they use. So in reconnaissance, which operating system our target has, what kind of the platform they use, so that kind of information you gather. What is their public IP address, their different IP address, land, range, everything. Then you start performing this scanning. So means you will find something like open ports in the system or the target over there. What are the open ports? Which service they are running? Means like you'll be finding out they are having the port number 80 open, and in 80 they are running the HTTP. They are having the 21 open. They are running the FTP service on it. So this kind of information you are doing. Similarly, after, in non-technical word, after you did the, you fix your target, you go there and you find out how many entry points in a home, right? So there is going to be like, one, two, three, let's say three gates to enter or leave, then few windows as well, right? That is the something that you are finding out. Then gaining access is going to be like, scanning will be having one more step between the scanning and gaining access. We can say enumeration, means finding more detail. So once you see those doors and window, you will be seeing which one will be leading me directly inside to the your vault. Okay, so if someone is they are hiding some gold or cash over there, so that I can steal. So similar to that, if is in enumeration, you will find more thing over there. Means if FTP is running, what is the version of this FTP? Was is that version vulnerable to any particular vulnerability, right? So this kind of thing you will be doing, that will be the your finding out more detail, scanning and enumeration, what we can say. Then with those detail, if you find that FTPD was vs FTPD and I can exploit it, and you will go and then gain the access of the system and get the finally go inside that home, right? Now it could be there that you are a thief who want to hidden there for few days and listen to their conversation and understand when they are moving the cache and where they are moving the cache. So you are hiding in their cupboard or anywhere, just for the example purpose. So similar to that, once you go inside that house or that system, you want to keep maintain to that system, so that every time I can get the latest data out of that system that is maintaining access. And once my target, my motive is completed, I collected that data, leave the system, and leave no traces in back. Cover your tracks, delete all the log files and everything, right? So this is going to be the removing any kind of the your proofs, evidences from the system, so that they cannot lead back to you, because no one want to end up in the jail. So this is something that you will be performing in a general attack. Now when you become a pen tester, you will be doing the same thing again. All these things are necessary, but with that, first of all, there is going to be the planning, right? It needs to be, you need to go ahead and plan something, that how you will be doing the attack and all these kind of things over there. Then perform all the regular steps. Planning will be having something regarding one thing which we talk about, scoping, right? So if I'm taking like scope, what I can do and access, what I can, which system I can you know uh, what I would do, I will go ahead and I will be deleting something. Sorry, which device I can go ahead and test, because there will be some of the critical assets as well where you don't want to run your pen testings, right, by the third party and all those kind of a thing. Okay, so what I'm talking about, you will be defining the scope, right? You will be defining the scope. Second thing, you will be having like someone written ROE in between. I was reading that rules of engagement, what to do, which tools are allowed, which is not. So that is the something in the planning. Then you will repeat this step. Then you go and analyze the things. So what you have learned after all these things. Where are the security gaps, right? What to do for these kind of a thing. So analyze the situation over there, why it is there, how we can solve this thing, and then prepare a report for everyone and distribute your opinion regarding the same, right? So this is going to get over there, right? So this is something that what we have over here is that report analysis and reporting over there. So this is the whole thing. In the end goal of a pen tester is not just stealing data and go, right? We will be going ahead and it will be producing a report as a final output, that these are the outputs, these are my proof of concepts for executive, for technical people, everything over all be over there, right? So this is always, you always start with the defining your scope. What is the scope? How many devices you have in the organization? So how many public IP address I want to test? How many servers I want to test? Which system I want to test? Which tools I need to test? Now, after this, this is the whole planning area, which is, planning part, which I'm talking about. So if you will be seeing, first step of the pen testing is going to be this creation of a plan, right? So we'll be talking about the uh, creation of the plans itself. And remember, these steps that I was showing you here, different frameworks where you'll be going, they'll be having different pen test processes as well. Like, if I'm talking about the PTES, so they will be having, like, if I'm talking about the NIST framework, NIST will be having three, one thing, planning, second thing, execution, and then they will be having post execution. In 3 steps, they have defined this thing. PTES will be having 7 steps. Sorry, SANS will be having like 6 steps if I'm talking about the SANS. So SANS framework, it will be talking about planning and preparation. They will be giving the name plan and prep. Then information gathering and analysis. Then vulnerability detection. Then penetration attempt or penetration testing. Then analysis and report. And then cleaning up, right? So like these things, so each standards, they will be having the different resources. And if you want to get a start in the real life with the pen testing, so you can pick up, like I was telling you, any of the pen testing methodology, you can pick one up, start with that, and have that like virtual environment like metasploitable 2 machine I was having, follow this step, follow some tools, and try to prepare a report. Like in practice, I'm talking like how you'll be going ahead. And then once you'll be becoming fluent, you can keep adding your tools in between, different new tools which you are familiar with, and all these kind of things, right? Now, when we were talking about the general steps, there was the planning, right? Like pre-engagement or planning, what we were talking about over there. So when we talk about the pre-engagement and planning, so this is very first step of your penetration testing is plan. So the proper plan will be helping you onto the your with the navigation of the complex IT structure and the organization. Okay, so like I was talking about, the first step is you need to plan things over there. So when we are talking about the planning, there is going to be things like the your uh, rules of engagement, that how you need to engage. Then there is going to be like you will be creating like contracts, master service agreement, non-disclosable agreement, and there will be the statement of work. Different things are going to be the documents that you'll be generating. You will be requiring a communication channel, that how you'll be communicating. There will be the legal restriction that will be given to you or applied onto you. So those things are going to be the part of it. Now, rules of signature, these kind of things will be there. So plan is necessary because it will help you to navigate through the complex IT structure, which machine you need to test, which machine you do not need to test, that it will be telling you. Then understanding the organization, it will help you with the what organization is generally do, how their operation work, and how you should be preparing for it, right? It will be giving you the idea regarding the what systems are installed in the organization, what application they are using, so that you can be assured that you can be assured that how much what we are, or we can say you can be assured that which applications are there, what they are vulnerable to, and also they will be helping you to understand another thing, like if there is already, you are using some legacy software which might have already caused you the problem. It will be also helping you to understand that which tools you can use and which tools are not allowed. Maybe some tools might crash that application, so it gives you the whole idea. Okay, then there is going to be the your once we have all this information, then we need to go ahead and create our audit universe. Okay, so what is that audit universe? Just to let you know, so to like few points I have written, so quickly I will be going to through over here. So to create an audit universe, what your tester will be doing, it will be using a top down approach to create this thing. Means, first of all, what is organization's business objective? Okay, what application they use, what processes are running, how their infrastructure they work, and each department and what their roles are over there. Now it will be working as the inventory for your testers and form the foundation of the methodology, that what you need to test one by one. Now you need to specify your methodology, like network or web application testing, how you will be performing that. Now based on that, like I am on the application right now, so I'll be saying that which tools my plan will be, what on over there in this universe for application, for the process, all those kind of thing. Now the plan, it could include sometime the objectives, stakeholder area to test, and authorization. Means, let's say there was something that you want to test, and for that you need to do the social engineering. You need to send the social engineering mail to everyone that we have updated the policy in our organization. Like one of the very common thing, how many of you have received a voucher from your office, like Christmas voucher, New Year voucher, and then they are giving you like Amazon voucher they are giving you, then they are giving you a link over here, that click on this link and redeem the your particular sorry, redeem your voucher over here. You click on that link, and where it will be taking you, it will be resulting that this was a phishing mail, and you fall for it, and due to it now you have to complete our cybersecurity training or your social engineering training, and then they will be sending you to that particular training, or you know uh, LMS kind of a thing, right? Pre-recorded session, and you have to complete them, take a test. So how many people fall for such kind of a thing in the organizations? Okay, so this is the kind of the test that will be over there, and you will be doing it. Okay, so this is the one of the thing that you might be doing. So plan these consists that how to proceed with the pen testing over there, right? So these things are going to help you to understand which device, which process, what you need to consider, right? All these things will be there. Then and this is also called ROE, rules of engagement. You will be doing, actually a lot of things are actually included here, like you will be doing impact panel analysis. Like if I'm in the e-commerce website and I will be testing their web server, that is the backbone of their business, and let's say at a peak time when traffic was there and I start doing the DDoS attack testing, it will bring down that whole Amazon server over there down. And what will happen, you will be left with the real customer facing the site is not working properly. So we want to avoid those situations. So impact analysis you have to do, timelines you have to define. Like many time you might have to test those kind of resources in a time period when generally my organization see low traffic in those or low pressure on those resources. So these things are going to be over there regarding the same. Then you will be going ahead and you will be talking about the information gathering. So I think we all know what to do in the information gathering. We will be going ahead and we will be talking about you know gather as much information as possible about the target company. So what they will check, they will try to find any potential vulnerability or entry point by using automated or manual tools, which can later help your attacker to exploit those resources. You will be using tools like nmap, recon-ng, spiderfoot, metasploit, wireshark. These kind of the different tools are there which you could be used over there. Then when we talk about the phases over here, what you generally do, these phases can give you the option out information like contact information, physical and logical location of the organization, information about other organization, links, their public facing servers, your network range, all these kind of things could be given to you over there, right? Then what you will do once you have that initial information, we will go ahead and information gathering tomorrow we'll be covering more in depth. Okay, so this is just the overview I am giving you of the pen testing over here. Once you have the potential vulnerability identified, testers they will be taking the leverage these particular at taking the advantage of these things, and they will be going or entering into the system itself. And what they will do, they will be having tester what they do before deciding to the attack strategy. Those testers they may choose to carry out an invasive information gathering process such as scanning or your enumeration that I was talking about, right? Invasive means more of an active kind of a thing, right? And this phase is going to be involved to actually compromise the target. So what pen tester needs to do here is define the pen, what is the parameter, which devices it is going to go and target and how. Then acquire those target, that what are those target, make a connection till there or get the access of that. Then escalate privilege means if I got connected as a normal user, I will say no, I will not be a normal user. I will do the privilege escalation and make myself the root user. Then after that, I will do the I will execute implant implant and retract means I will perform my task whatever I want to do, steal the data, install some malware over there, implant some backdoors over there, and then clear my traces that who was there so that they cannot reach out to me, that who kind of attack their organization. So this is something that what we are going to do. And even after that, once you have done all these things, so remember we are not just the attacker who is there to steal the information, we are there to help the organization to remediate as well in the post exploitation, right? So this is the part where we are going to talk about how you are going to go and help the organization to recover from these. So if you are talking about these things, so remediation phase, it will be talking about how you are going to address the vulnerability, right? Which we have find how we are going to work with this. So this will be including like creating a prioritizing the list of vulnerability to fix, determine the best method to fix them, and implement those fixes. So you'll be giving the priority. So the one which is the most dangerous for your business school, your critical respect, critical resources, you will be first going with them. Then you will be reducing the risk by of a successful attack by closing the identified vulnerability. So with the risk, if you will be talking about the risk remediation, there are four things. I will not talk them right now, but yes, just the idea. So there is either you can accept the risk acceptance, that okay, there is no patch for this, what we can do for it, right? Then there is something like the risk transfer. So it is like transfer the risk to third party, like having the insurance. Okay. Then there is going to be the risk avoidance. Now I know that there is the window XP which is causing my system to get compromised or my organization to get compromised all the time. So avoidance is remove this XP, I don't need it, right? That is the avoidance. Then there is going to be the your risk, your what we can say remediation, or what we say exactly the term, I'm actually looking for the term. Risk identification, yeah, risk treatment kind of a thing. So that would be your when we are going with the yeah risk mitigation, exactly. Risk mitigation mitigating the risk, like if there is a threat of malware, I will be going ahead and installing the anti-malware. So this will be the risk mitigation, right? So these are the kind of a thing which will be your which we will be looking at. right? So implementing the phase that how we are going to work with it, this is going to be regarding your post your exploitation. After that, you will be generating a report. Final stage is reporting. So from planning to execution and solution, all details are going to be compiled in a report, and then it is going to send out to all the stakeholders, which will be having simply the steps to fix the issue, future steps, and are going to be maintained over there. So right now we are doing this. In future we will be doing this kind of a thing. And final report should be made that it is consumable by both technical and non-technical personnel, which we can say kind of an executive summary. Okay. It should also cater the requirement of both executive, IT, and support team. So you'll be telling them in a simple layman manner that what is actually going on over here. Now, from all this, so what it is that we require for the pen testing, why it is important for organization, right? Or what we will say, benefit of the your pen testing. So what you can say is pen testing, the any organization they will be having multiple needs for the your pen testing, why they want to do the pen testing over there. First is to identify what are the vulnerabilities in my organization. First is that. Then you know once you identify the vulnerability, you will be going ahead and you will be simply reducing the risk, because now I am aware about that what are the risks that is available. I will try to implement this solution for that. Okay, that this is my solution, and once I have this solution for something like this, what I'm going to do, patch those one up, right? Or transfer risk reduction, risk avoidance, whatever I want to do, I am going to do that kind of a thing. It will be helping my organization. Now there is going to be the your compliance. So sometime for the compliance purpose as well, many organizations they perform the pen testing, so it will let them know where there are the security gaps and they can fulfill it. Okay, and that's why you will be able to achieve any compliance as well, that is going to be in there. Apart from that, once this is also done, then there is going to be the cost saving. So let's say there is a rule of 80/20. So if what is said in that, if 100% loss was there due to the any attack, if you would have spent 20% of that amount into your security, you could have reduced 80% chances of attack, right? So this is something that is going to be in there. Okay, so this is going to be the part which is talking about these scenarios as well. Now apart from this, it is obviously helping you to improve your security posture. It will be now difficult for the any attacker to go ahead and attack the your organization over there. Then it is going to test your incident response, that how prepare your defensive side is, right? Were they able to detect any threat? Were they able to properly go ahead and kind of head on, right? Means can stop any of these kind of a things over there or not. So these kind of the things you'll be testing out over there, that what are the some benefit of the your whole your scenarios over there. So when we talk about these things, so there are different kind of assessments you are doing. Like I was talking about compliance based assessment. So if I will give you just the idea, there are because there was one term which I read over here. Okay, so according to that we are talking about. So in simple term, any organization will be benefiting from this. You will be prepared for what is there to go ahead, or what kind of attack you can expect over there. Now there are different kind of the assessment. One could be a goal based or objective based assessment over there, right? So you have a focus point, that what is our goal, why we want to do this. So if I'm talking about this thing, three things: goal based, second could be your compliance based, because when we are talking about the pen testing, compliance based assessment you are performing, and third could be a red team assessment. So when I'm talking about the goal based, so you have a very specific focus point in your pen testing. So, once you have that, you will be like, my whole point is to protect the or talk about the privacy of data. I want to test that out. That is my goal of the pen testing. Okay, that could be the one thing. And based on that, what attacker will do? Attacker will be doing information gathering, attack on only those devices, right? Which is collecting the information. So this could be a goal based or objective based. Compliance is saying that I have to be PCI DSS compliant, right? And I was doing the pen testing to fulfill those points that is in the PCI DSS over there. And red teaming assessment is the ongoing, always keep going on head to head, I would say, a head to head match between defensive and offensive side. So red team will be the one who will be acting like an attacker. They will try to avoid detection and attack the target, then collect the information without being caught in the act. So if you are performing something like this, that is going to be called the red team assessment. Okay, so red team assessment. So you don't want to get caught, you want to be stealth, you want to avoid any kind of the your triggers over there. You'll be keeping a low profile, infiltrate the network. Okay, so these are going to be the this is the different type of assessment that you are performing. So that is the red team assessment. That is the red team assessment that what we are doing over there. Okay. By contrast, the pen test, your penetration testing team, they are usually time constrained. Okay. You will be having a time like in 1 week, I have to complete it. So often they cannot go and be patient like red team people over there. Right. And, you know, so they can be sometime noisy. Your penetration tester, they could be sometime noisy, right? While red team, they will be more on the quieter side. They will be quiet. And pen testing with people, they will be having time limits, so they might be noisy because they know that they have been hired for one purpose. They are going ahead and they are going to perform these kind of a thing. So there are different teams. You guys can go out, read about them. General, I'm talking about three team: red team, attacking. So these are offensive people. They will try to avoid any detection. Then there is going to be blue team, which will be a defensive team working with the SOC, SIM tools, try to detect anything that is going on. Then there is going to be something like white team as well. White team is one who is going to define the rules that is there, right? So these three things are going to be in here. Now, what I will do, apart from that, when we talk about these color coding teams and all, so there are strategies as well. And I think because I was reading some of the Nawaz's session as well. So same kind of, something that might be discussed on the defensive side is also going to be discussed here as well. If I'm talking about the strategies, type of strategies that you will be doing. So in the pen test strategies, there are three: black box, white box, and gray box. Okay, three kind of the your box method, pen testing strategies are going to be in there. Black box is attacker has no idea. You will be given a target that this is your target and you have to bring it down. You will have zero knowledge about that, that what is their network design, technology that they use. And this will be the closest to the your real-time attack, right? They don't have any idea. Then there is going to be the white box testing. White box is you have all the idea. You will be having software development tools, the architecture, you will be allowed, your IP will be whitelisted, everything you will be having. That is the white box testing. And then there is gray box testing, means you will be given only the network architecture and then say that, okay, go ahead and now try to compromise, right? So this is going to be the three pen testing strategies that can be used. Okay. And yes, you are right that these things are also used in the software testings as well, right? And attackers only, attackers type, I was seeing some of the slides. So you have already familiar with the hacktivist, script kiddie, insider threat, national and all, nationalists and all these kind of things that is out there. So this is the few things that could be there. And remember, when we talk about the your pen testing, some organization they hired third party as well to go ahead and perform the pen testing. Okay, so this could be also the scenario. There could be internal pen tester as well, external pen tester as well. So these things are also possible in the cases of the pen testing. So this was just the very basic idea over here, guys. So what I have done, I have created the bit of the your question answers for you as well. Okay, so okay, red team, again I got a question. What is the red team? Red team is the offensive team. Okay, red team will be the people who will be doing the attack in your organization. So you will be hiring in your organization, you will be having people in security team which will be attacking. Blue team is going to defend, right? Means like SOC center. Okay, they are working with the SIM tool. Someone try to do the attack, there will be an incident generated, alert generated, and they will be try to stop the attack there. So those are the blue team, stopping, detecting if someone is doing the attack and block them. That is the blue team. And white team is kind of your umpire, referee in the match. What is allowed, what is not. Okay, creating those rules, those, that is the white team. Okay, your referee of the match, right? So this is a bit of the overview or idea regarding the pen testing.